Perfect.
I will come on video in a few, Nev.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
nice to
me
have you
too.
here. Okay. Oh,
I'm just
everyone's freshening up.
I'm just eating breakfast.
Okay. Yeah. That's perfect. Hey, Cynthia. Hello, Valentina. Hello, Joe. Hello, hello. Hi, Joe. Where are you at? She was like traveling to Kazakhstan or something. Actually, I'd love for you all to just start dropping in where you're checking in from. Hey, Jeanette, your name, where you're checking in from, just so we get a sense of this collective space. And I will just keep getting people in just for another minute, and then we can start. Hey, Baha, beautiful. Okay, well, I'll just start. So, hello everyone, Colorado. Okay, beautiful. I love it, love it. I'm Nev. I'm your masterclass facilitator today. And today you'll be learning about 3 absolutely necessary steps you need to take in order to actually heal from chronic disease. And I know we are here connected virtually, but I want to let you know that I am currently physically situated in what the indigenous custodians of this land called Eora Nation, or what you know as Sydney, Australia. And I want to, before we begin, give my most sincere and heartful acknowledgement to the abundance of this land and how it continues to provide us with vitality in so many ways, to the elders and the communities that so lovingly and intelligently tended to and protected this land for thousands of years. And here is to hoping that Indigenous wisdom finds its way back into our lives for the collective good of us all. Hello, Mar. Yay.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
So I love the energy of purposeful devotion. There's something so enlivening and delicious about it. And this is the energy you're all coming here with. We are collectively creating. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And you've already been telling me where you're checking in from, but if you haven't, I'd love to know where you're checking in from. And also, what is the energy that you are gifting to us today? You know, though this masterclass is free, I always do appreciate reciprocal energy exchange, and the presence, the devotion, the curiosity you arrive with supports the potency of my transmission for you. So please stay participatory, stay alive, stay expressive, stay listening, stay receiving. You know, type in the chat if you have an aha moment, if something I say lands really specifically for you, if you're resonating, and I will pour with overflow as I so love to. So I'm gonna look at just some words, some energies that you are sharing, that you're gifting with us today. If you could just type it in the chat and let us know. Wow, Valentina, 1 a.m. That is dedication. I love it. I was supposed to have someone joining in from India, and it's 4:30 there. Let's see if she makes it. Mar is here to share happiness. Beautiful. And hello, Anu. You're in Kyrgyzstan. Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. So what are some gifts you're pouring in? Just your presence, whatever it is, let us know. Wow, Petra. Beautiful. Beautiful, Anu. Openness, curiosity, excitement. That's what we love. Calm. 1 a.m. in Barcelona, she's calm. Devotion and love. Ah, love it. Beautiful, hopeful, good. Ooh, love it, Julia. Feeling re-inspired and charged up. Jeanette bringing humility. So, so important to learning and healing, actually, is humility. I think for a long time, I kind of had this arrogance about me that I knew what I was doing. I knew what I needed to do. I could do it on my own. And life just really humbled me. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything. I'll put my hands up. Just show me the way. And I continue on with that same energy. Ah, beautiful, Sydney. Soaking up that beautiful elemental lens, recommitment. Gorgeous. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So, how many of you have heard someone say, I am on my healing journey, or I've been on my healing journey for some time now? How many of you have actually used these same words yourself? No judgment. It's such a common phrase, right? So, this is what I have to say to you. Yes, healing is a journey, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be so long and winded and twisted and experimental. You don't need to be guessing and second guessing and falling in and falling off and trying this and trying that. You don't need to be going to 10 different doctors and clinics when there exists a single time-tested method and pathway that supports you in your seamless healing from whatever mental or physical issue it is you've been dealing with since forever or since recently, with tangible results now. So yes, of course it's a journey. Life is a journey, but the action of healing doesn't have to be with all these crazy bumps and hurdles and ignorance and confusions. You get to make this journey with clarity, with wisdom, with precision. And this is why you're here today. It's no secret that we are living in sick times. Pretty much every single person you know is suffering from some chronic ailment or the other, regardless of age, circumstance, income, cultural background. Suffering transcends all things. We all experience it. So the opportunity and access to, the opportunity and access to heal from suffering differs greatly from person to person. So just know, just let it land. You are so blessed that you are here. You're so blessed that you're able to attend this masterclass. You're able to receive these insights on ancient, deep-rooted healing wisdom today. I'm going to be walking you through 3 steps I intimately guide you through to support your healing from whichever chronic issue you are challenged with. So by the end of today's session, you will have a clear step-by-step process on what is absolutely essential, and it always works when it comes to healing from chronic disease. You then get to assess if the process that you are undergoing in your own healing journey is really working intelligently. If the practitioner or the doctor you've been seeing is really following each of these steps with discernment, and you can begin to more effectively and powerfully make decisions for yourself. And you will even get to learn about an actual opportunity for you to move through these steps in a streamlined and highly effective manner. So I really urge you to make the most of what you have access to at this time, to really, really honor your blessings. You yourself are here because there are some issues, be it mental or emotional or physical, that just don't seem to want to leave you, right? They just love you. They don't want to leave you. But you are here because you believe in a reality where you are actually released from the grips of chronic pain, chronic inflammation, anxiety, lethargy, whatever it is, where you wake up feeling clear and fresh, where you move through the day without this crippling pain, or those cycling thoughts, continuous anxiety, where you fall asleep feeling grateful and satisfied. And though you believe it, there is still sometimes some doubt. You've almost forgotten, or you have it in moments, but sometimes it feels so far away. What is it like to actually live life like that? Or maybe you never have. And I myself grew up with a lot of chronic ailments that you'd be surprised to hear about. But I'm actually curious, what are some issues and challenges you've been moving through? Or it could be a loved one of yours, a friend, a client. But I do believe that all of you here are first and foremost here for yourselves. So what are you hoping to receive light on? Like, let me know in the chat. So I just have a sense of what are some of the patterns, some of the issues. Hey, Ellen. And I can also be more specific then with that. Okay, Sydney, recent autoimmune development. Okay, PCOS, that's polycystic ovarian syndrome, an irregular painful period. Anu, choning thoughts, she wants a peaceful sleep. Cynthia, chronic fatigue. Okay, yeah. Diagnosed with Hashimoto's as at 15. Kavita, endometriosis, and since having a baby recently, wow, also developed thyroid conditions with Hashimoto's, insomnia. I have pancreatitis since 2009, but in Jan, I got a chronic sinus infection. Oh no, that's stopping me from able to work. I'm a dive instructor, really important. It's so difficult to have to pause with what you love doing because of something that seems to just come out of nowhere and then doesn't want to leave. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, these are actually pretty real issues going on. So I'm really thank you for sharing that with me. It gives me a sense of what we're working with in the space. Recurring corneal abrasions and inconsistent self-care practices, anxiety, fear, acne, blocks to creativity, attachment to unhealthy habits. Yeah, I've been working with Danya for the last few weeks. Actually, that's Star Juice over there. And yeah, Joe, anxiety, acne, insomnia. Okay, you can keep pouring into the chat if you feel called to share, but this is that's okay, Danya. This is good. I think collectively as well, just to hear each other and know how not alone we are in moving through some of these really difficult chronic situations. And also, you are not alone in these challenges. Even just me sharing, when I was growing up, I had persistent sinusitis, colds, mucus, phlegm, just constantly. I had to have this huge hanky with me, and every corner would be filled. It was so gruesome. And around 15 or 16, I began to develop toxic coping mechanisms with food as a way to deal with the usual stresses of puberty. And I don't think I'm very alone with that. And when I left India to study and live in the US, I began to develop an intense eating disorder, an extreme anxiety, and experimented a lot with substances too. I really pushed the boundaries of my body in many ways. Within 3 years of living there, I found out I had cysts in my ovaries. I think I had 17 or 18 full-on cysts in total. I was not having a period cycle for 6 months, no period. And they called it PCOS. So yes, I have dealt with polycystic ovarian syndrome myself. And the gynecologist told me that I had to live with that for life unless I got surgery. That's what she told me. My weight fluctuated like crazy. And I think at times I was quite depressed and lethargic too, but I was quite functional in a sense as well, you know? So it was kind of like I just got to keep brushing it under the carpet. Soon I moved to China only to develop this sharp shooting. I'm surprised none of you said muscle pain, because wow, I had this sharp nerve pinch, neck pain that would just arrive at random, and it would just leave me completely handicapped. Like I thought that the first time it happened, I thought that I was paralyzed. It was so scary. The eating disorder, the functional depression, it persisted, and left me it left me feeling very insecure, honestly, and holding a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. And I never really had a sense that things could be different. They just were. And I didn't know better. And I would look at like seemingly healthy people with this kind of jealousy and yearning, And it's not like I didn't try. I went to different therapists. I went to chiropractors. I went to doctors. Obviously, I went to gynecologists, but no real relief, just pills, opioids, birth control, whatever, like antibiotics. So there was this phase then where I just realized I was reaching a tipping point. Like it was just a horrible low in my personal life. And I can't go on like this anymore. I had been dreaming of consistency with my yoga pranayama practice for years up until then. And I had been playing with natural healing methods for years as well. But it was only at that breaking point, and I just don't recommend everyone reach that breaking point. Like, why is our rock bottom set so low? Why was mine set so low? Well, I didn't know better. So yeah, it was only once I reached there did a real devotion start to become alive in me, a daily diligence, a consistency of study, of practice, of embodiment. And I was 24 at that time. So I'm really glad I started when I did, because as you've all heard, I had a lot to heal from. Emotionally, energetically, physically, a lot. But slowly, surely, gently, my body regained its natural intelligence. I do not have PCOS anymore. I do not have a single cyst anymore. That's what's wild. It's not even there. Anxiety is far away. It's just not even a thing. The eating disorder was tricky. The chronic pain was tricky. But all of them slowly, gently, surely released. My body has healed in absolutely astounding ways. And I am not worried about suddenly falling into a new chronic disease either. And this is not just me. This is what my students, this is what my clients begin to experience too. And some come to me with the exact same issues that you all have mentioned here today. The lethargy, the sinus, the PCOS, endometriosis. Some come just ready to fine tune. Some need a lot of work. And they speak to it, the transformations, they share their stories, and none of us are special. Yeah, why does it take rock bottom? None of us are special. We just made a decision. And you have made a decision to be here today. So this same healing is possible for you too. Hold to that vision, because that reality is absolutely priceless. Now, the big question is, how? Niv, how? What are we not seeing? What are the doctors missing? What steps need to be taken? The big how. So I'm going to break it down for you today. The 3 steps I take to heal any chronic disease, regardless of how it shows up, regardless of who you are, you will always see results. Always. Why? Because it's logical. It's scientific. It's systematic. It's comprehensive, as you will see. Definitely, learning to trust your body is a huge part of it, but you can't trust a toxic body. That's an issue. You can't trust a toxic body. Toxic body gives you toxic thoughts, toxic cravings. And so a little bit of work needs to be done first, and then you get to trust, and you get to trust all the way. And it's exquisite. So the first step that most doctors, even naturopaths, homeopaths, miss is to cleanse. So many doctors will rush to fill you up with things. more B12 supplements, more iron, more hormone injections, more pills, more opioids. But the fact of the matter is that a part of the reason you are suffering is because your body is so clogged up with toxicity and your innate healing mechanisms are completely out of whack. You are clouded from your own wisdom because there are decades worth of bad food choices, toxic parenting, shallow breathing, fight or flight bodily reactions, immature lifestyle, and then environmental toxicity, right? It's just general toxicity within our foods and our air and our waters, and it's all clogging up in your mind and your body. And what use is it to add more shit to that? How is your body even going to comprehend what is coming in? How is it even going to absorb or assimilate, even if you did give it herbal medicine or herbal supplements, let's say? It's a complete waste. It is just so straightforward. Think about when your laptop or your car breaks down, or your computer is running super slow, randomly shuts down, the fan starts blowing up when you open just a couple more tabs, takes ages just to load something new. And you decide in that moment to download a super heavy, high-performing software or app onto it. It's not even going to be able to run it. It might even break down just trying to download it. The first thing the person at the Genius Bar is going to do, however incompetent and hectic that experience is, but the first thing anyways, is they're going to clean the insides of your laptop. And they're just going to, open the whole thing part by part and clean it out. And then he's going to ask you to clear up your storage space, trash all the unnecessary apps and files that are just clogging up the system. And just those 2 steps, it's like there is new life in your laptop. Now it's ready for that new software. Now it will be able to run that new app. Or a car. It starts huffing and puffing, and the engine is acting up, and you just keep filling it with more and more fuel. The fuel is pouring out of the tank. There's no space left in the gas container for more petrol. But you're like, oh no, the car isn't working. It needs more fuel. It needs more superfoods. It needs more this. It needs more that. The first thing a mechanic will do is to clean the engine inside out. Clean out the internal pipes and whatnot. And then whatever fuel you do put into it, it begins to be used 100 times more efficiently. It can actually take in that petrol. And yes, we are so much more complex as human bodies, but that step, it cannot be missed. It is absolutely necessary. It's only after that can we actually even better understand what precisely is wrong on a deeper level. But before that, there's just so much muck that is wearing you down and making everything 100 times worse than it needs to be. The nuanced piece of this step, because you want a laptop, you want a car, you're a microcosm, a unique one, that too. So the nuanced piece of this step is to cleanse in such a way that suits your unique mind-body system, so that the cleansing process actually creates balance in your system and not aggravation, not depletion. This is very important, okay? The cleansing that is suited for you, let's say Cynthia, if mindlessly applied to Danya, to Mar, it can actually cause further toxicity and aggravation, because the type of cleansing you need could be radically different from the type of cleansing the other girl needs. This is why we're not computers or cars, right? We're unique bodies going through very personal experiences and situations of life. So when I say the first step is cleanse, I do not mean a one-size-fits-all cleanse. I do not mean, okay, everyone, let's collectively hop onto apple cider vinegar and celery juice. I don't mean, okay, everyone, let's only drink smoothies for 1 week straight. There are definitely some universal across the boards do's and don'ts when it comes to things that do support the cleansing. And you hear me speak about them all the time on my Instagram, my podcasts. But when I tell you the first step to heal chronic disease is to cleanse, I mean a personalized detoxification of your particular aggravations given your particular unique mind-body system. So when this step is done correctly with discernment, your body begins to purge and release all that unwanted shit. Mentally, physically, emotionally, the natural intelligence of your body starts to become alive. And this is when, as Kelly mentioned, you also start to trust yourself and you get to trust yourself. And actually, not trusting yourself is a type of cleansing that also needs to happen, because a lot of us come with a lot of doubt and a lot of hesitation and a lot of inability to follow through with what we think we know is best. So that pattern also needs to be cleansed. And what you should know is that the step of cleansing is facilitated through multiple pathways. So, for each of you that looks totally different, but one of the most important ones is through your natural detoxification system, which is your digestive system. So the process of cleansing requires that we optimize your metabolism, your digestive processes, so that all that muck, that clogging, that aggravation can actually be broken down by the body and released with your urine, your stool, your sweat, your exhale. Isn't that incredible? What remains is pure wisdom. That's the truth of you, right? What remains is pure wisdom. It's amazing. That's the natural intelligence of your body that is going to be healing you from chronic disease. Nothing else. No supplement, no healer, no yoga, nothing else outside of you is doing the actual healing. All of these support your body. That's going to be doing the actual healing. I hope there's no confusion around that. So I think you are starting to get a really good, solid feel for this necessary step, cleansing. Yes?
I have just a question. And I guess how long, obviously it would be very different for everyone, but the cleansing process, how long do you think? Month, 6 months?
Well, of course, it depends. It differs from person to person, but you start to feel the effects when it's done correctly within a week, within 2 weeks. The body is ready. It wants it, But this is where we get into the cleansing happens on many layers. So the important thing to note about this step is, though, yes, we first focus on cleansing within the framework of your unique mind-body system, something interesting begins to happen. Certain relationships, activities, choices, they start to slip away from your field too. So as you cleanse your internal system and energy field, the world around you begins to align closer to the authentic truth of who you are. And this can be really confronting because a lot of us are so attached to what was or what we're used to. We need to respect that the cleansing process is going to happen on many levels. So Kelly, to answer your question, you will start to energetically, physically, emotionally feel cleansing within a week, 2 weeks. But then you clear the ground and something deeper comes up. So everyone has a different way of working with their people, with their clients, with their students. I personally like to be working with students for at least 3 to 6 months, because I believe that the depth and the layers of cleansing that get to happen to really set you up for life get to be deep, and we don't need to rush the process, even though it's happening fast. So, and then there's this part of attaching to old patterns, which takes actually way longer to release those old toxic coping mechanisms. So like I said, we're cleaning so much. Some of what is intentionally activated by you as you learn what foods, lifestyle choices were clogging your system up, you realize you have to start creating certain boundaries. Some of that cleansing happens as a result of you cleaning up your mind and your body. And healing from chronic disease is going to require that you come to terms with the depth of those relationships, of those coping mechanisms, of those activities too. The moment you begin to cling, the moment you begin to identify with the past versions of you, you slow down this healing process. And how many of you have experienced that? Me. You know it's time to, let's say bye to a friendship that isn't truly reciprocal, that isn't feeling aligned with the version of you that you're stepping into. And the more that you clear out certain lifestyle patterns, certain choices, the more your inner clarity speaks to you. It's just so apparent that this relationship or certain relationships have actually been creating tension in your body. And that is intertwined with certain manifestations of disease that were sticking to you. Now, maybe what needs to change is just how much power you are giving to that person or friendship. Maybe there's an invitation for a new dynamic to evolve and take shape. The process of purging what was does not need to be harsh, intense, or extreme. I really stress and invite that this release be gentle, peaceful, done with as much gratitude as possible. But this is an extremely important part of the cleansing step that many, if not most doctors and even Ayurvedic practitioners will completely neglect. And I'm here to tell you, this step cannot be missed. But as you can see, the step of cleansing requires your practitioner to have the emotional intelligence to support you through some very sticky and difficult closing of chapters, emotionally and energetically. It's not just about cleansing your intestines, cleansing your neural pathways. It goes way deeper and way wider. And without this very comprehensive step, the rest is useless, to put it lightly. This step is immense. It's powerful and it's expansive. And this step is personal. It's very personal. With this step alone, you are already going to be seeing mind-blowing healing results. A lot of the issues that you've mentioned to me, 80%, I think, you would experience relief from just through this process. The chronic fatigue, the irregular periods, autoimmune developments, really the cleansing process. Because you're understanding, right? The wisdom, the intelligence, that's still there. No one can ever take that from you. No circumstance, no situation, no nothing, no matter what is being expressed in your body, cannot be taken from you. So you're just releasing all that's clouding you from that, and then you see the results. So this is the first absolutely necessary, incredible step that I love. That's difficult. Do we stop there? No. We take the healing process a step further. We fortify. Though in the cleansing process, we don't want to leave the body depleted ever. So this is why I stress an intelligent, personalized cleansing. Oh, beautiful. Yes. Daily meditations, boundaries too. So yeah, in the cleansing process, we don't want to leave the body depleted. But still, this is how you can see it. When a deep cleansing has happened, it's like, imagine taking the pus out of a closed wound. So you've been walking around, with this wound that has its scab formed already. And now you've actually opened it up and you're ready to squeeze out all that infected, toxic pus that was keeping you from your ease and your vitality. And it was causing you distress and pain and irregularity. Now the pus is out. We want to make sure that we fill the wounds with a loving medicinal balm. It's that same logic. Now that you've gone through weeks of this deep cleansing, your body is naturally feeling clearer, more open, more able. And you get to now apply fortification to the body to just really ground in that resilience and immunity. Again, this is a piece that is often completely neglected or then mindlessly applied in this one-size-fits-all way, which, as you can see, I have a big problem with because it just doesn't work. You're not all the same people, even if you come to me with the same issue. So if you really want to heal from the PCOS, the fatigue, the inconsistency, the acne, the insomnia, the self-doubt, you need to be very meticulous with each step of the process. This is not some fluffy experimental process that I'm sharing with you. This is not something I conjured up. This is the systematic way of moving through the deep healing. So maybe you've gone through some ceremonies that took you through deep cleansing process and then completely neglected the replenishment and nourishment that is required after. Maybe you've gone through a series of juice cleanses that have had you do some, crazy bacterial intestinal cleansing process without any aftercare rejuvenation. Or you've even experienced a surgical process, invasive procedures cleansing out cysts or growths or accumulations, and you've received no stabilization or holistic post-operative care after. Or then you've moved through some kind of romantic, platonic, familial breakup, and you've been working with a therapist to clear out a toxic relationship that's been clogging up your life. But you haven't given the same attention to nurturing the energetic body. So the chances of reoccurrence, and relapse and aggravation and repeated patterns are actually much higher than if you provided the body with the supportive, rejuvenative, deliciously fortifying post-operative balm. Or let's say you've been trying to cut out a toxic coping mechanism from your life, an addiction to weed that that has been causing all sorts of havoc in your body. So yes, you've made the first attempts to clear out that activity, and yes, you're seeing results, but unless your world is fortified with something that is of a higher level of pleasure, you might find yourself actually slipping back to your old ways, even just a few weeks or a few months later. And I really don't want that. How many of you have actually experienced this in some shape or form, where you've gone through some cleanse, some ceremonial thing, some whatever it is, trying to clear out a toxic coping mechanism, and but there's left this feeling of void, and you're not fortified. And we need you fortified. We need you resilient. We need you with this strong, protective aura of resilience, of immunity. So fortification is the step in which after cleansing, you are introduced to some absolutely divine herbal decoctions that create vibrancy in your system. Or, I introduce you to breathing practices that create internal resilience. This ensures that you really stay consistent and true to the process that just happened. This is fortification. And again, what this balm is depends on what your chronic patterns have looked like and what your unique lifestyle and body requires. Different herbs, foods, breathing practices, for example, quite subtly target different parts of the body or the mind. And we want to make sure that you receive the most precise protocol and implementation so that you can really feel that deep, lasting ease of that issue. Like you never have to deal with it again. It's not scar tissue, where there is that memory of the disease. That is fortification. And like I was saying, this helps you to create this auric field of protection. In Ayurveda, we call this ojas, the nectar of immunity. I just love how this is even described in Ayurvedic texts, the nectar of immunity, that we get to create this nectar, we get to feed this nectar of immunity. And this nectar can only be enhanced and cultivated once the vessel and the field is, first fully cleared. So do you see the logic? Do you understand how the sequence needs to be applied with precision and perfection? Do you see why it makes sense, how it works, and how your body is no different? Like these steps would work and apply to you too. Right, Kavita, that's a really great example. Lack of fortification postpartum left me so depleted. Yeah, this is a great example. This is a great, yeah. So, but are you seeing how these steps are making sense? Are we good? It's logical, it's landing. Perfect. So at this point, good. At this point, you're like, Niv, what else could there be? This itself sounds pretty darn thorough to me. And yes, it's true. Most practitioners will stop there. Most Ayurvedic practitioners even will stop there. But in my experience, my expertise, I have found that it's the third step in my own life and for my students that really just closes it. And this is the step I like to call prevent. So yes, you've effectively healed from one chronic issue. Yes, you have more stamina, more stability of mind, less likeliness of falling sick. There's an inner ease and strength that has been cultivated within you. But the perils of life persist. Toxicity is everywhere. Stressors, traumatic situations, unexpected life events, injuries, epidemics. So what? So what? Every single time you go through something big or you move through something that weakens your system slightly, you need to return to a high-level practitioner like me for cleansing and fortification? Oh no. Oh no. I want you to be empowered. You need to be tapped into the knowledge and awareness yourself so that you can always be a step ahead in supporting your body, in reading your own symptoms, making minor changes here and there to support cleansing yourself whenever needed, resetting your operating system, applying that fortifying balm as needed. Preventative care is true health care, in my opinion. It's not enough for you to be just receiving therapy as you need it. You need to be investing in educating yourself so that you do not fall into one chronic illness after the other. And prevention needs to happen after the cleanse and fortification. Why? Because now you're tuned into your body. Now you can listen to those messages more clearly. You can clearly hear your body. Before, it was so clogged up with so many confusing messages and feelings and pains and exhaustions and whatever. And now you have this intuitive hotline, this line of communication with your cleared up and fortified mind and body. And the prevention piece just helps you decipher those messages for life. This is what saves you unimaginable, wasted, and confused time, all the ongoing doctor's appointments, big headache, all that wasted money in checkups and lab tests and supplements and different kinds of specialists. And after all of that, you're still experiencing the symptoms. I mean, this is just madness. This is just absolute madness. So we want you to skip. We want you to save all those tedious, boring, like literally, if anything, it's boring. I hate it. I hate it. I hate going to the hospital and the clinic and this and being thrown around from here to there, from here to there. Nothing. You need to be recognizing what foods are toxic to you, what clogs you up and why, how different environments and seasons will affect your body, why certain months of the year are emotionally more difficult to you, what to do about it, why certain climates aggravate certain things within you, and how to eat or drink differently to prevent further aggravation. And when you learn the wisdom of preventative medicine, you will know that you're going to fall sick 5 days before you actually fall sick. You will not even fall into chronic or even acute disease, not because your body is special, but because you are taking active steps of preventative care. And the step of prevention is only possible when you are educated and informed. And when you have the capacity to turn inwards and focus on what exactly your body is telling you. Because trust me, the PCOS, the chronic sinusitis, the autoimmune, the fatigue, the anxiety, they didn't just come out of nowhere. They didn't just happen to show up one day. There was a lot prior to that, building to that. And now with this prevention, you get to listen to the whispers, the whispers that if you read incorrectly or you don't even read, but it oftentimes happens that we read it incorrectly due to misinformation, which there's so much of, or ignorance. These whispers turn into screams. And it's these screams that eventually persist and become chronic because we have no clue what is our body saying to us. So yes, you must receive support from a practitioner to go through the first steps, cleanse and fortify, especially when it's the first time that you're really diving deep. But then you need to actually educate yourself and learn how to observe yourself for yourself. When I began to empower myself and sign up for high-level Ayurvedic programs, I had no desire other than to be the most empowered and educated version of myself. I self-coached myself through whatever scarcity, mindset blocks I had about money and like this and that. And it actually was a time when I had been fired from my job. So it was like I had time to commit, but I wasn't as resourced as maybe I would have liked to be. But I had the clarity. And like I said, I just knew I had to go all in. And I just made some bold investments because I refused to live in ignorance or constantly be relying on someone else outside of me for my own health. And the gift keeps giving. No matter what, stress, toxicity, epidemic, whatever, I'm able to move through it just like butter smooth, gracefully. Like real traumatic things have happened to me. And I will not say my body didn't feel it. I'm human. I definitely experienced the stress. There were changes that I went through, but I always knew exactly what I needed to do to come back to balance when it was time. So this idea that I would just fall into some kind of chronic persisting issue, it's just non-existent for me. So yeah, it is a non-negotiable step given the distressing times we live in. And like I said, it's the step that has helped me move through some really distressing, I don't say distressing, like catastrophic events in my life with, thank God, only a few scars. So, well, yeah, I cannot thank God enough that I have had the wisdom to move as gracefully as I did when everything was collapsing around me. I mean, I can get a little personal. Like even just a year and a half ago, I started to experience some really, really dark emotional manipulation from my partner at the time. We had been together for almost 7 years, so I was really identified with that relationship, with the vision that I held on for much longer than I thought was healthy. And towards the end of it, pure emotional abuse. We separated. I had to flee from my home, and my body was in complete shock. This is the kind of stress that creates traumatic ruptures in the mind and in the body. And I'm sure all of you can link certain chronic disease expressions in your own body to trauma you've experienced as a young adult or as a child even. But because I knew exactly what was happening, why my body was experiencing all these crazy changes, my period even stopped entirely for about 2 cycles, which hadn't happened since that PCOS years ago. But even still, I was not worried. I did not spiral into worry. I even understood the energetic scars that had been formed and what was needed to heal, what was needed for them to heal and not fester. And I didn't spend thousands of dollars on doctor's visits and different lab tests. I just took my time. I did what was needed to balance my hormones, my metabolism. It took months. And I just slowly, gently got back on track. There was never a moment of doubt that my body would, of course, feel the effects, but then would surely heal once I took those appropriate steps to cleanse and fortify. And I can't even say what I would have done without this wisdom, without this tool, without knowing how to move through the cleanse and fortification. I might be on birth control. I might still be paying for a therapist or a dietitian or a life coach or a trainer just to receive symptomatic treatment from it all and never really prevent disease from manifesting in a more serious way. And it is this step that allows my students, they're not my clients anymore because they learn from me, to know exactly how to properly take care of themselves for life. Or then at least know precisely what kind of support they need and from whom. And that's fine too. But you know, you're not just like throwing darts at the dark, like maybe it's this, maybe it's that. So if they say they're on a healing journey, you know, I know that they actually know what they're doing. And I don't teach them just surface level principles. I really teach them precisely the techniques and tools I used to support their cleansing and fortification. And that internal confidence as well, it just takes away all that unnecessary doubt and worry and despair and victim mentality that often comes when it often comes into play when dealing with very difficult situations. So because you know exactly what is needed. You know what your system can be supported with easily accessible shifts. You know your system is going to heal. And ultimately, like I'm saying again and again, at the depth of it, you are your own best healer. Your wisdom about your own body is unparalleled. So this is it. Cleanse, fortify, prevent. Isn't it just so simple and so beautiful? Doesn't it make you like, can you see yourself? Can you see yourself moving through this and how it works, how it is so effective? Like, is there any stone left unturned? I would like to know that. I would be so happy to hear if you noticed that. And are you feeling clarity about what might be needed in your own situations to heal from what you mentioned you'd like to receive light from? You could just let me know in the chats. I'd love to know how it's landing. My personal opinion is that this 3-step cleanse, fortify, prevent, it's not actually an option to ignore that this is available to you right now in support of you healing through your own chronic disease. You cannot afford to move through life without the clarity and ease that is yours. You don't need me to say this to you, but I just have to say it anyways because we forget. You cannot afford to put off deep-rooted healing in the correct manner. You cannot afford to be suffering your whole life from this and that, or then relying on people outside of you, but they're all incompetent. We cannot do that either. You cannot afford to be lost within the inevitable miseries that are thrown your way. You cannot afford to normalize your sickness any longer or pretend like it's something that you just need to superficially manage your whole life. You're here because you yearn for deep-rooted healing. And this is exactly what this 3-step process supports you with. So if you are resonating with this methodology, if you feel like the systematic 3-step process is logical, it speaks to your heart, then please invest in this for yourself. You only have this one body, this one life. Make good use of it. If you're wondering what this process looks like with me and my students, I personally, myself, only offer one single program through which you can receive all 3 steps. And I'm going to take you through it because it provides with a template for you as well to look into if you are deciding to work with someone. And okay, are we going through the cleansing? Are we going through the fortification? Are we going through the prevention? I want you to be clear with this template and know what is available to you. And if it's not, you get to move, with discernment. So the program that I offer, where you can receive all 3 steps, this is the Embodied Ayurveda Certification Program. I have a couple of my students here. Just so you know it's real. Joe will say hi. Carla will say hi. Starjuice will say hi. Mar will say hi. Jeanette has been in one of my smaller circles before. But yeah, so I will answer your questions, Cynthia, Kavita, and Sydney. Thank you for asking those. But yeah, just so you know, there are students here, so I'm not making this up, and they can testify that we do go through this process. So yeah, first of all, let's come back to the vision. It's really important to keep coming back to the vision because this vision is what keeps you hopeful, keeps you working, keeps you consistent, even when things are getting difficult. And this is the vision where you're moving through, you have a life where your health isn't constantly thrown off, where you don't have to take sick leave from a job that you love because of something unexplainable, where you aren't spiraling into confusion about all the uneasiness your mind and body is going through, where you're not just Googling a bunch of things, wondering in darkness, where you could have actually healed from these issues that you girls have mentioned so vulnerably, and experience the clarity and the confidence to give yourself fully to what you love. And the reality is, I personally only work with select students, those that I can see are really all in on their mission of living healthful, purposeful, joyful lives. And they are very clear that they want to stop playing superficial, surface level games. They've already tried many approaches. They've actually, even some of them have even worked with Ayurvedic doctors or been in programs. They've tried things, many healing techniques, but they're ready to now master a single technology that can serve them for their entire lifetime. I spent years trying to experience all these 3 steps that I've shared with you: cleanse, fortify, prevent, in a high level way. And it was so disorienting trying to find different practitioners and programs that I fully resonated with, trying to find a teacher that truly cared for me. Very hard, okay? And had the capacity to support my healing. To be honest, impossible, actually. So I have actually spent at least 10 times as much as what my program's fees are in personal programs, just to be able to weave it all together into one cohesive, intimate, and very caring whole for you. I was actually recently accepted to an Ayurvedic doctor program, and I decided against it because as much as I love deepening my own knowledge, I realized that the teachers there, they didn't have the emotional intelligence or the capacity to guide me in the way I really deserved and desired, which is a huge reason why I've designed the program in the way I have. And my students are incredibly grateful to find a teacher that can guide them through all 3 steps in one cohesive, soulful program, one that they feel that they can trust, they feel inspired by. So if you're here knowing that I'm going to be by your side in overflow for you, you're seeking a teacher that is going to be by your side, is going to be an overflow for you. This is a huge part of what I bring to the cleanse, fortify, and prevent process. And I don't want you to let doubts win. So those of you that are right now experiencing any of what you mentioned, I want you to just really feel what it's like to have those issues lose their grip and their power in your life. Just feel it energetically. Just kind of taste it. Your mind, body system getting cleansed, fortified, empowered. I want you to know this is what is available to you right now. This is such a blessing. You get to choose this for yourself. I've had students heal from chronic anemia, depression, weight gain, weight loss, irritable bowel syndrome, gastric reflux, constipation, acne, irritability. The list goes on and on. And now they walk with this wisdom active in their own lives, for life, empowered. And maybe that's the most important part for me. So I want you to know exactly how this works. No fluff, okay? As you can see, I'm a no fluff type of teacher. No cloudy stuff, okay? No surprises. Over the 6 months, to answer your question, Kelly, how long it takes? Well, for me, if you're working with me, it's 6 months. We go through 3 different phases that address the 3 different steps for your healing. First, you and I begin working one-on-one for 12 consecutive weeks. where I meticulously move through you all the different types of cleansing that is personally needed for you. This includes physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. So I'm getting to really know you very, very intimately through these weeks. Like very intimately, maybe the most intimately you've ever known someone or shared with someone, because that's how I'm really learning exactly what your body needs. Simultaneously, you begin to integrate foods, practices, rituals, lifestyle changes that are strengthening your mind and body from the inside out. And what's really important to note about this phase is that I place a lot of importance on integration, really supporting you in the actual embodiment of these practices, because it's not easy. It's huge. It's like you're really timeline shifting. You're really shifting into this vision. And I want to make sure that you're working with your unique work lifestyle, your home environment, your cultural background, your preferences, what brings you joy, all of that, so that you can actually follow through consistently with the healing processes within the environment you're currently in. Remember, you're the one that's doing the work to cleanse. I'm offering you and supporting you with the insight, but finally it's you that needs to do that work, and that requires a lot of agency and accountability. So I'm supporting you with that on every single layer of your life. We don't miss anything. Now you're feeling the transformation, the clarity, the energy, the progress, the vitality. And we start to dive into the second phase of the program, where you actually begin to learn the preventative healthcare techniques of this 5,000-year-old wisdom modality. You learn in an intimate group container. You connect with incredible visionaries from across the world, just like yourselves. You know who you are. You know what you bring. You know the work that you've done, the types of ways you've shown up for community. Just imagine this level, this frequency mirrored in other absolutely incredible women from across the world, learning from them what they're moving through, what are they doing to move through it. And you receive group coaching as well, and you practice applying these techniques on one another. So now I've made sure that the knowledge is given to you in a very systematic and structured way. You receive information in the form of live and recorded seminars, reading materials, podcasts, books, and super interdisciplinary as well. I infuse relevant works by artists, activists, land stewards, so that it actually lands on a heart level, not just intellectually. This is something that I want you to stay close to, okay? That's nothing that you receive from me, and I hope that you really felt that from this masterclass. Nothing that you receive from me is dry, okay? And this is super unique about my program, or the way in which I work, especially within the Ayurvedic world, because this is high-level technical training, right? And high-level technical training too often just feels dry. You have no idea how many lectures I have fallen asleep in. It's like, yeah, it's interesting, but like it's just droning and this. And my own background is interdisciplinary, and I found that information lands better when we feel deeply connected to. So I've really curated something special for you in how you get to learn the art and science of prevention. And finally, we solidify your technical expertise. This is so important for me. It's so, like, you can tell your empowerment is maybe the most important thing for me. So your technical expertise, by having you go deeper into case studies, practical assignments, so you feel confident in your ability to truly prevent chronic disease. And you will technically have all the tools you need to implement this professionally or start out a career, even from scratch. But the real goal of this phase is to create the confidence and the competence within you to apply this knowledge as and when it is needed. So stay with the energy of this possibility for you. Look at the future you, and she's moved through this. Keep it alive in your heart and your mind, and do apply. If you know, reach out to me. Let me know if you know that this is going to be an essential part of your healing journey here. And maybe you think, Niv, this just sounds like too much. This just sounds like too much. I'm going to keep going to my naturopath. I'm going to my therapist. I'm going to my chiropractor. Yes, cleanse, fortify, prevent. I'll figure that out. And I have one question for you. How is that going for you? I love the I'll figure this out on my own attitude. Trust me, that's a very younger Niv attitude I felt identified with. We started this masterclass. I touched on arrogance and humility. And yeah, it took some humility because it's just so much energy spread into different places where it might not actually be serving you. Maybe marginally you're seeing improvement, but I'm not talking about marginal improvements here. I'm talking about actually healing from chronic disease, which means you need an expert that can see and understand you as a whole, not these isolated treatment plans. One person doing one thing, for one person for one thing, another for another. They don't even communicate with one another. That's just what's wild to me. And they don't even know you that well. So you're trying to piece, you're just left trying to piece it all together on your own. No wonder it's not working. No wonder it didn't work for me. And then you're still left without the empowered resources, just wasting time on treatments that might be completely irrelevant to your healing. You think it's a mood disorder, so you're seeing the therapist or energy for years, and actually half the issue needs to be healed through your gut. You're seeing marginal improvements, but you want substantial gains. You need a practitioner, and this is in general, you should know this, that can understand all of you and your needs. So half the modalities that you might be working with, you might not actually need. You could be saving so much money for life by going through this one-time process. Perfect, Kavita. You might be spending money on tests and therapists you don't need, vitamins you don't need, superfoods you don't need, hospital visits you don't need. Save that money and just spend it on things that bring you joy. Invest in your kid, invest in your family, in their health and well-being. Invest in your wisdom for life. You might also be thinking, Niv, I love this process. I love it. I'm just going to find a local Ayurvedic doctor and I'm going to do some self-study. And again, this is not a bad option. No, I actually recommend you do your research. Find who's around you that you resonate with. But I want you to know something, and I say this with full humility, actually. I'm not just an ordinary Ayurvedic doctor, nor does self-study come anywhere close to receiving from a well-versed and experienced teacher. You see, most Ayurvedic doctors, unfortunately, in our current modern day and age, have moved through a very streamlined system of theoretical study and aren't actually equipped to understand you on a mindset level, on an energetic level, an emotional level, and a physical level. They just don't have that background, experience, or training. My gift is in being able to precisely pinpoint what the right protocol is for all of you. I know how to understand you on a mindset level, an energetic level, an emotional level, and weave that together to create a powerful healing protocol for you. And finding a practitioner with this level of expertise is rare. So to move through the cleanse, the fortification process with a practitioner that is treating your full unique mind and body as one whole actually keeps you accountable, holds you with depth, loves you. This is what is non-negotiable, needed for those lasting results. But I don't work with just anyone. This is not some impersonal machine running here. My cohorts are very, very small, so you do need to apply first. And the application really lets you elaborate on all the areas you yearn for support in. So I can get to know your context, your needs, your desires very well. And then we get on a one-on-one call to see if it's truly a right fit and if I can most definitely support you. And if it is, brilliant. So good. We take it from there. And if it's not, it's okay. I will definitely recommend you to a coach, a program, or a mentor that feels most suitable for your context. So if you're feeling resonance right now, if you know you deeply desire to heal from chronic disease, you are feeling resonance with these steps, and if you're feeling curious and excited to work with me, then just post your name, post your email, and I will speak to you later about the details, the pricing, what it could look like for you. But if you're here live, you should in any case, because you're getting to know about this first. I've not announced this publicly. I haven't been sharing about this. My next cohort, so you're the first in, and it's a small cohort, and you get the chance of winning a whole 1,000 USD off, which is incredible already because the program is so financially accessible for what you receive. So I'm so excited to hear from you. Message me. Okay, Anu's gonna message me and let me answer your questions. And I'd love to see your faces as well. Going to look at reoccurring echoes of old patterns, how it might fortify instead in their absence. I've tried different kinds of cleanse and nothing works so far. I have felt worse and more stressed after doing it. How do we know what kind of cleanse we need to do? Well, the Ayurvedic cleansing process is a time-tested process that's been working for more than 5,000 years. And as you've realized, that's what I walk you through. Doing it yourself is like room for disaster and exhaustion, because it can be very depleting, it can be very restrictive, and it gets to be so gentle, and it gets to be so pleasureful, and it gets to be so easeful and specifically for you. So yeah, it's a unique one-size-fits-all cleanse. That's what my students are going through. That's what's worked for each and every one of them. But Cynthia, if you do want to know more, then just message me personally, because your situation is personal. Kavita, I have stayed at an Ayurvedic hospital, know that this medicine has incredible effect for me. It's helped my path change in so many ways, but there are still reoccurring ruptures, as you call it. And I'm wondering how often we need to do this. Well, you don't need to be doing a panchakarma and being in an Ayurvedic hospital, but also recognizing that the process of cleansing and healing is a lifetime process. And we just get to show up with joy and presence and commitment and devotion, because when we bring that energy, it's not exhausting. I feel so grateful that I get to keep pouring into myself in this way. So in that sense, I'm doing it all the time, you know? And you don't need to outsource it. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you, Jeanette. Thanks, Petra. Well, beautiful. DM me if you want to get some insight into your specific chronic disease issue. You want to learn about what we can do to help you cleanse, fortify, prevent. Let me know if you're resonating with my energy. Actually, I'm just going to drop in this link here for all of you. so that you can look into the details, and if it lands, do your research, apply now. This is the best time to apply. Just apply. The application process is so beautiful. You just receive so much just from applying. I promise you that, and my students will testify. So any more questions that are coming through, anything that has landed that you want to share, any moments that clicked for you specifically, anything that's churning inside? Ellen, Julia, Shreya, Valentina, I know it's 2:30 for you. So we have a couple more minutes, so I'm here if you want to reflect on anything at all. And actually, I will drop the link straight to the application as well, because it's so good. Just being able to reflect in that way. Thank you, Mar. Thanks, Ellen. Yes. It's been incredible working with you, Danya. She sent me a photo of her meal today. I think I'm going to make a post just on what you've been cooking for yourself. Well, beautiful. I think that you all are just integrating, receiving. Message me personally. I'm here on DMs. You see how responsive I am. I'm here to care for you. I'm looking forward to receiving your applications. And yeah, take so much care and look out for my posts and stuff, because I have a couple of more free things coming for you. I do. It's recording right now, and I will send you all the link so you can go back into it, let it integrate, let it land a little bit more. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your presence. Goodbye. Bye, Sydney. Bye, Carla. Bye, Shreya. Bye, Cynthia. Bye, Valentina.